Kaito Arata was by all accounts an ordinary high school student. His days were a predictable cycle of classes, homework, and hanging out with his best friend Luca. He worried about upcoming exams, not monstrous beasts from another dimension. His biggest challenge was figuring out what to have for lunch, not how to save the world from encroaching darkness. Kaito lived in a world where magic was the stuff of legends and video games, a fantasy far removed from his mundane reality. He was perfectly content with his simple life, never imagining that a single unremarkable day would completely shatter his perception of the world and his place within it. The change began during a seemingly boring school field trip to the ancient Ethelgard forest. While his classmates were busy taking photos and listening to the history lecture, Kaito found himself drawn away from the group. A faint, ethereal hum called to him, a soft pulse of energy that only he seemed to notice. Following the sound, he stumbled into a hidden clearing where a crystal shard rested on a moss-covered stone. It glowed with an inner light, pulsing in rhythm with his own heartbeat. It was beautiful, mysterious, and utterly captivating. He felt an irresistible urge to reach out and touch it. The moment his fingers brushed against the crystal's smooth surface, a torrent of energy surged through him. It was an overwhelming sensation, like a lightning strike and a gentle river flowing into him at the same time. A cascade of blue light and strange symbols filled his vision. A voice, ancient and powerful, echoed in his mind, speaking of destiny, power, and a hidden world. When the light faded, Kaito felt different. He was stronger, faster, and acutely aware of a new energy buzzing just beneath his skin. The crystal had vanished, absorbed into him, leaving behind a new mark on his hand, the sign of an Ascendant. Kaito stumbled back to his group, his mind reeling from the experience. He tried to act normal, but everything felt different. The world seemed sharper, the colors more vibrant. He could hear whispers on the wind and feel the life force of the trees around him. Back at home, he discovered he could now conjure small flames in his palm and create shields of pure energy. This wasn't a dream. The crystal had awakened something within him, granting him incredible powers. But with this newfound strength came a flood of questions. What did this mean? Who was he now? His ordinary life was over, replaced by an adventure he never asked for. Kaito quickly learned that his new abilities were not just for show. The world he once knew was merely a veil, hiding a much more dangerous reality. The power of the crystal allowed him to see what others could not. Grotesque monsters, known as phantoms, lurking in the shadows of the city. These creatures fed on fear and negative energy, preying on unsuspecting humans. His first encounter was terrifying. A hulking, multi-limbed beast cornered a stray cat in an alleyway, and without thinking, Kaito instinctively summoned a blade of dark energy to defend it. This was his first real battle, his first taste of the secret war that raged just out of sight. This new world operated on a system that felt strangely familiar, like something out of the role-playing games he loved. Every time he defeated a phantom, he felt a surge of power and a new understanding of his abilities. It was as if he was leveling up. He learned to control his shadow magic, shaping it into weapons or using it to teleport short distances. With each level, new skills unlocked, and his core strength grew. But with greater power came greater threats. Soon, he wasn't just fighting weak phantoms, but venturing into dungeons, fractures in reality where powerful monsters and valuable treasures awaited. These were dangerous trials, but they were the fastest way to become stronger. The responsibility was immense. Kaito was no longer just a student. He was a guardian, a protector of the innocent. This dual life was a constant struggle. By day, he had to pretend to be a normal teenager, stressing over math tests and social awkwardness. By night, he was the Shadow Ascendant, fighting for his life against creatures from nightmares. The exhaustion was constant, and the secrecy was a heavy burden. He couldn't tell his family or his old friends. He was alone in his fight, caught between two worlds, and the pressure to succeed in both was immense. Every choice mattered, and one wrong move could have fatal consequences. His journey was not just about fighting, it was about discovery. The world was filled with hidden magic, ancient artifacts, and forgotten lore. He learned about ley lines, powerful currents of magical energy that crisscrossed the globe, and the different types of magic that other Ascendants could wield. From elemental manipulators to healers, the variety was astounding. Kaito realized that the crystal hadn't just given him power, it had given him a key to unlocking a world far more wondrous and terrifying than he could have ever imagined. His adventure was just beginning, and the mysteries of this magical world were slowly starting to unfold before him. Kaito soon discovered he wasn't the only one with special powers. His solitary struggle came to an end with the arrival of Ariel, a mysterious and incredibly skilled magic user. She appeared during one of his most difficult fights, effortlessly dispatching a powerful phantom with a display of elegant ice magic that left Kaito speechless. Ariel was a prodigy, seemingly born into the world of Ascendants. She was serious, knowledgeable, and initially saw Kaito as a reckless amateur. Her guidance was invaluable, but her cryptic warnings about the dangers of his power created a tension between them. A mix of rivalry, respect, and a budding, unspoken attraction. On the other side of his new life was his old one, represented by Luca, his childhood friend. Luca was loud, cheerful, and fiercely loyal. Though he had no magic, he was a gifted fighter with incredible physical strength and agility. When Luca accidentally witnessed Kaito in battle, Kaito had no choice but to reveal his secret. Instead of fear, Luca's reaction was one of pure excitement. He immediately declared himself Kaito's tank and partner. Luca's unwavering support and humor provided a much-needed anchor to Kaito's old life, reminding him of who he was before the crystal. His presence brought light and laughter to their dangerous missions. The dynamic between the three formed the core of their team. Kaito was the versatile shadow mage, growing in power but still learning the ropes. Ariel was the experienced elementalist, providing powerful ranged attacks and strategic insight. Luca was the frontline defender, using his martial arts skills to protect his friends. Their interactions were a blend of serious strategy and light-hearted banter. Luca would often try to lighten the mood, cracking jokes in the middle of a tense dungeon crawl, much to Ariel's annoyance. These moments of levity, like arguing over the best way to share loot or Luca's failed attempts to flirt with Ariel, made their grim reality bearable. Their friendship was tested constantly. Loyalty became paramount as they faced threats that tried to tear them apart. Kaito found himself caught between Ariel's cautious, strategic approach and Luca's head-first, courageous one. The romantic tension between Kaito and Ariel was also a source of complication, a gentle undercurrent in their dangerous lives. Would he choose the mysterious girl who understood his new world, or would his heart remain with the simpler bonds of his past? These relationships were Kaito's greatest strength, but also his greatest vulnerability, forcing him to make difficult choices about trust and love. Kaito, Ariel, and Luca were not just fighting random monsters. They were soldiers in a secret conflict known as the Shadow War. They learned that Ascendants were divided into factions, each with its own ideology on how to handle the Phantoms and the source of their power. Some sought to destroy all threats to humanity, while others wished to control the monsters for their own gain. This hidden war was fought in the alleys, abandoned buildings, and hidden dungeons of their world. Every battle was a small part of a much larger struggle, and choosing the right allies was a matter of life and death. The stakes were far higher than Kaito had ever imagined. At the center of this conflict stood Elder Magnus, the enigmatic leader of the faction Kaito and his friends had joined. Magnus was an immensely powerful and ancient Ascendant who served as a mentor to the newcomers. He provided them with missions, knowledge, and a safe haven. He spoke of a greater purpose, of a prophecy foretelling a champion who would end the Shadow War for good. Yet there was a darkness about him, a hint of secrets kept hidden behind his wise facade. Kaito couldn't shake the feeling that Magnus's motivations were more complex than they appeared, leaving him to wonder if his mentor was truly a benevolent guide or a manipulative master with his own agenda. This new reality forced Kaito to confront difficult themes of responsibility and sacrifice. The power he wielded was not a gift, it was a burden. Every choice he made had consequences that could affect not only his friends but the entire world. He had to decide what he was willing to sacrifice for the greater good. Was it his normal life, his relationships, his own safety? These questions weighed heavily on him as he navigated the treacherous political landscape of the Ascendants. He was no longer just a boy who stumbled upon magic. He was a key player in a war that would define the future. Kaito's journey is far from over. His path is one of continuous growth, of leveling up his powers and his understanding of the world. Ahead lie more dangerous dungeons, more powerful enemies, and deeper conspiracies to uncover. The mysteries surrounding the crystals, the origin of the Phantoms, and the true nature of Elder Magnus remain unsolved. Alongside the thrill of adventure and the joy of discovery, he must balance the complexities of friendship, loyalty, and a blossoming romance. Kaito Arata, the once ordinary student, now stands as the Shadow Ascendant, ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead on his extraordinary quest.